So lucky to be yours. And you're taking me high. Ain't nobody like you. I'm not coming down. Ain't nobody like you. I could go 1,000 miles as long as I'm with you. Yeah, you're taking me high. Ain't nobody like you. Talking about yourself and you make me smile. I can listen all night long. I tell you about the time when I first met you, listening to our favorite song. Walking on the street when you caught my eye. Something about the way you move. No, there ain't nobody like. There ain't nobody like. So lucky to be yours. And you're taking me high. Ain't nobody like you. I'm not coming down. Ain't nobody like you. I could go 1,000 miles as long as I'm with you. Yeah, you're taking me high. Ain't nobody like you. 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 Jump into the car on a Friday night. I wanna drive with you. Looking for a bar in the nearest town. I've never seen a sky so blue. And you're taking me high. Ain't nobody like you. I'm not coming down. Ain't nobody like you. I could go 1,000 miles as long as I'm with you. Yeah, you're taking me high. Ain't nobody like you. Ain't nobody like you. Ain't nobody like you.
All right, I know how it can work out. You can go find a person that's developing a POS in his basement in the middle of Montana, in his mother's basement, looking down, trying to create that POS, gets 4 different restaurants, 5 different retail stores to be able to use it, and then it all blows up. You can partner with a business like that, and you can find thousands of those across the U.S. Or you can choose to partner with a business that has being trusted to serve the Masters. They're being trusted to serve the U.S. Open. They're being trusted to serve the largest rodeo in the United States. They're being trusted at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, where my wonderful Pacers lost to the Lakers by 1 in a last-second tip. I hate you, LeBron. You can do that right with PayProTec because we can tell you about how to do that with Retail Cloud. Let me bring up Matt Proctor here first. Before we bring in the team from Retail Cloud, Matt, we've been working with Retail Cloud for quite a while, and you've had the opportunity. They served the All-Star game here in Indianapolis, and you were able to. You've been traveling around the world seeing Retail Cloud. What would be your first 2 sentences or short describing Retail Cloud and why it's a special fit for our partners at PayProTec?
Hold on. First off, great intro, buddy. But why'd you have to bring LeBron up? That was such a heartbreaker last night.
I was just making sure that we are, relevant. We're making sure people know that it's Thursday, March 27th. This is live. We didn't pre-record this. This is all, what we say is what you get. And yeah, I had to bring up bad things. Okay, I get it. So it was a heartbreaker.
All right. No. I totally understand. I appreciate it. All right. So guys, I'm very excited for this episode today. Longtime partners of ours, for me, almost 9 years, with Kevin, Rupak, Christy, the whole team. But think about this, guys. Everything from a smaller mom and pop boutique that only has a couple locations, all the way up to, like Nate said, a Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Okay. Traveling events, shows where yes, they might need 250 or 300 units. Maybe it's a liquor store chain that has 70 locations. They have full warehousing. They need to be able to control that and transfer between stores. They want to be able to have an app on their phone to walk around and scan inventory. Boom. Retail Cloud is checking off all these boxes that we're talking about. And so I'm so excited today to be able to roll this out to the masses and be able to have you guys all be able to experience what this software brings to the table and really what opens doors for you in places that we don't want you to be intimidated by, because maybe you didn't think we had a software that could handle exactly what they want, whether that be with Servio, with Retail Cloud. We're going to discuss that today. And I'm very excited today because we have two special guests. One is my dear friend Kevin, I've known for several years, and he's not going to say a lot today, or else Kevin and I can talk for like 4 hours straight. So we'll keep this as brief as possible. But one of the smartest things that Kevin ever did is he hired Jenny Solis right here. This amazing woman has really transformed Retail Cloud over the past, gosh, Jenny, what's it like 5 years, maybe 6 years? How long have you been now? Yeah. So I'm so excited that both of you can join. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. And yeah, today it's all about you guys. It's all about, let's focus on where the future goes. Okay, I know Kevin's going to talk about some exciting software and really some fun experiences and stories. We can have story time with Jenny. That's exciting.
We're going to have some fun with this. So let's start with just the quick elevator. Kevin, you've got 27 floors on a pretty quick elevator to give us the brief history, which I know is not brief, but brief by you.
You're only giving them like 2 minutes
of Retail Cloud, your experience. Because let's be honest, I want to get faster to Jenny. She's, she makes us all look better on the screen. But we'll start with the history of Retail Cloud, how you got into the payments and retail POS business. And, yes, just imagine that we're on an elevator and that we're going to get off. Maybe you go 80 floors. Maybe you're going to the top of the Empire State Building. You decide.
Well, we got into it quite by accident. By the way, I did love the introduction. Thank you very much for it, because it rang true. But we got into this at the request of a radio frequency provider that wanted to get into sports merchandising, but had trouble with connectivity. So this is back in 2005, 2006, when it was conceptual. And we started in 2008 as a cloud-based solution that specialized in sports and entertainment. In about 2010, we pivoted and saw that the payment processing market was changing. And so we started to rebuild our applications to make them simple to use, simple to install, primarily for payment processors. So we've been in and around doing a lot of things, some things well, some things we were on the bleeding edge. But it's been quite the ride. And I would say that things really gelled for us with COVID because we had built such a robust platform. COVID changed everything in the way merchants were doing business, and essentially commerce was being done. And that's where we've seen our really growth post-COVID. But lots of great stories. I mean, we've been to Super Bowls and World Cups and Olympics and, so much more. That's a 2-minute elevator pitch.
That's perfect. That's perfect. So Jenny, I'm going to come over to you. You've been here almost coming up on 6 years. Kind of tell us a little bit how you got involved with a Retail Cloud, maybe a little of your business history and what those last 6 years have looked like.
Yeah. So I have been in sales for many years, but came over to Retail Cloud actually part of a response to COVID, we'll say. It's been really good. We've seen the company grow, I think, in ways that I never expected. And we've taken a lot of new turns and directions in terms of keeping things modern. I think that's something that's very unique that I don't see a lot of companies being able to keep up with, is we're always looking towards the future. What's next? How can we keep things up to date and make them just consistently better for customers? And I've really seen that be a trend that we follow over the past 6 years. So,
yeah. So I'm going to bring Matt back into this. And Matt, what would you say have been some of our biggest successes with our partners? And what were the closing reasons of why the merchant chose to go with Retail Cloud versus other options?
Well, it's really the robustness of the software. Is that a word, robustness? Yeah. The fact that
it is today, Matt.
they can handle. It is today. We're uncensored. Doesn't matter, right? The fact that it can handle, any environment, even environments you wouldn't think it would. We have a local place, Nate. I think I told you about Indie Grocery. It's a grocery store. Retail Cloud wasn't built for grocery, but they were sold on the apps, for their phone. And the fact that they looked at several other softwares and they couldn't find that where they can have an inventory app they could share with their management and with their team. And that ended up being, a huge success as, I was able to go there, see the software, speak with the agent, things like that. But really, Nate, where we found the most success are in our multi-locations, where they need that multi-store, they need warehousing, they want to be able to manage that across all platforms, whether it's smaller, 3 or 4, or where we're looking at 12 to 20. And then recently, Nate, one of my, hopefully a great success story is we're going to get to PayProTec Nation Goodwill moving forward. And what better software to be able to handle all of their needs than Jenny and Kevin and our Retail Cloud team. And so we're very excited about that opportunity. That's coming up very soon. They've been working on it for 18 months. So it's a big deal. What? We can't hear you, Nate. What'd you do? You clicked a button, buddy.
Oh, no, I muted myself because I had a little bit of cough and I was responsible, but I didn't know you were going to let the cat out of the bag, but that's good. This is uncensored, so we're going to do that.
I'm sorry.
So I'll go to Jenny next. What do you think sets you apart? So we'll go to several scenarios, and you can tell stories, you can name features, however. What sets you apart from multi-location businesses, and why Retail Cloud is specifically adept at being able to serve the needs of multi-location businesses like the Goodwill that he mentioned earlier, or the grocery stores that are multi-locations? What are some of the features? What are some of the stories of why Retail Cloud is serving those needs so well?
And Jenny, I want to add to that question because a lot of our partners come to us with Lightspeed, and we compete well against Lightspeed, and we move them to Retail Cloud. So if you can touch on that too, of how well you guys compete and how we replace Lightspeed out there in the regular environment, would be great.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I definitely think it's a few different components that all working together give us a really powerful system. We are a retail-centric point of sale, so we do retail very well. And as you know, Matt, we do have solutions for other areas and industries as well, but retail is really where we excel. And what that means is that we've taken the time to really perfect and dive into all of those features that our retail customers need. And on top of that, the scalability included with that. So having, like you mentioned earlier, that warehouse management, the ability to have 2 stores communicate with each other, different pricings set up at each location, things like that will allow these businesses at a grand scale to be able to manage things from a home office. On top of that, we do offer some really good integrations that will help just complete everything. So at Retail Cloud, we do try to keep everything in-house, but we know that there are some things that we don't do in-house, like accounting, e-commerce, things like that we're able to integrate with the best in the business to allow those larger scale businesses to, again, be able to have one unified solution.
So
and actually, sorry, Nate, if I can chime in. And Jenny's absolutely correct. I get stuck sometimes because I keep saying the word retail. But the fact that you have software that is very good for the food and beverage environment too, I think is something that should be discussed. And Nate, I don't think we talk about that enough.
Yep.
Because we have used that in that environment, in a dual environment, or if they just need that full service restaurant, bar. That's something that in the past we didn't talk about as much, but now I think it's important, to focus on. And Kevin and I talked a lot about that. See, Kevin, I'm trying to make you happy here. You're right.
Yeah,
you're right. We should talk about it.
I appreciate that. I mean, that's actually what I think one of the biggest opportunities that we have. We have 20 different vertical solutions, not for vertical industries, but for vertical processes within a business. So, for example, we have a very robust purchase order management solution. We have a very robust inventory replenishment solution. We have, for some of our hospitality and food and beverage implementations, we have a catering solution that is being used. So I think as Jenny mentioned and Matt, as you pointed out, one of the things that gives us a unique advantage is that we haven't just looked at building a point of sale solution. We looked at building a platform. And, as we look forward, I like to tell people that our main job right now is to get rid of the POS because we think POS is going to be something that's not going to be long for the market. We think that we're going to have to do commerce wherever customers are on whatever device they choose. They're not 2, 3 years from now. I don't think people are going to be walking out to a cash wrap to check out.
Well, now
Okay.
you guys certainly have set in our industry and giving us the capability. I'll use the ability to do multiple ways of payments, multiple ways of checkout, and you've kind of bridged all those together. I'll use the stadium. I was just recently went to the Big Ten tournament here at Gamebridge Fieldhouse, and as I'm walking my kids, we can order from a kiosk. We can walk through the what do we call it, the Amazon's
The
strategy
quick,
of being able to
yeah.
walk through and pay and scan and walk in and get and walk out with your Gatorades, several different things. Talk about how that has added being at the forefront. You guys are one of the first to be able to take some new technologies, be able to bring that omni-channel approach, and then win big businesses like large, stadiums where they aren't just one type of point of sale. They have kiosk ordering, app ordering, they have retail, they have cardless or cashless retail. They have so many different things going on in one location. What has made Retail Cloud be able to integrate all those technologies and build that trust? And then second question for really both of you, and I'll let you choose who takes these. How, when you can serve a large organization like the Masters or a large stadium, how does that help when you're serving a network of, let's say 15, 30 retail locations or even restaurant? I know we're not only retail, but a 30 location place that may be a smaller footprint, but are using some of the same tools that you're using at a large footprint location like Gamebridge Fieldhouse. So I'll start. First question, how is Retail Cloud being able to be at the forefront of all those technologies? And then how does that help more of the SMBs that you're able to serve the big businesses and also the small and medium businesses? Who's first?
I'll jump in. If
All
that's
right.
Long
okay, Jenny.
questions, buddy.
I know. I just get it all out there and then I want them to talk.
No, so I think that the biggest advantage we have, and I'm going to go back to Nate to how you open someone in their basement building apps. Our biggest advantage is that we have close to 50 engineers that are doing nothing but building solutions, and we typically have solutions built before they're needed. We have a research and development team that's very aggressive in looking at the trajectory of the space and how we build solutions for the space. And I'll still go back to COVID. COVID changed everything as far as QR code ordering was concerned. And prior to COVID, in one of our hackathons, someone from our team built a QR code ordering application that we didn't do anything for a year. And then when COVID rolled around, we needed it and we already had it built and we were able to deploy. So I think the strength of our research and development program, as well as having the number of engineers we have that are on staff. They're not third-party engineers, they're Retail Cloud engineers that are always dedicated to solving problems. I'll give you an example. Yesterday at the Yankees, they called us and said one of the biggest sponsors was visiting today and asked for opening day and asked for a sonic display on the 835 when they did a transaction. PAX didn't have a solution, so our team built that solution for them overnight, strengthening our relationship with them and strengthening their relationship with the sponsor. So I think the strength of our engineering team, our research, our commitment to research, I think Rupak and Ryan do a fantastic job in keeping our product line moving forward. And yesterday we got a notification that we were named Cloud POS of the Year by Retail Insights. And I think that one of the primary reasons they gave that to us was because of our platform strength and because of our engineering strength. In terms of how a big venue brings brings solutions, you get to fail for 20 minutes in a big venue. So if something goes wrong, you literally have a very short time to fix it or get over it. And I think that kind of immediacy and that kind of response is something that benefits the 30 or 40 or the 20 location merchant, because they're not going to be the biggest merchant in our platform. They're not going to be driving the most transactions in our platform, but they get benefit from the people that are driving 1,800 transactions a minute, who have no room for failure. So they benefit from that metric. So that I think that's something we bring to them. I don't know if I fully answered your question, but I'm sure Jenny will do a better job. She
No.
usually cleans up after me.
No, you did a perfect job. And Jenny, maybe even targeting a little more, you have worked with a lot of our offices and our partners that are selling in the field and selling to, smaller, I don't even, because I don't like to pigeonhole it, but less locations, maybe 15 locations. When you're working with people that are selling into those, and what are the features that are closing the deals? Because they're probably not wanting a
lot of the
Sonic,
extras.
a lot of the extra bells and whistles, because they're just want to keep it simple and straightforward. What are those features that you're selling on? You're seeing our partners closing these deals on that are maybe coming from. So yeah, I'll let you take it.
Yeah, so I think it's less about the specific feature and more so in how we handle the feature. What I see a lot lately, and like Matt said, we move a lot of people over from Lightspeed. It used to be QuickBooks, POS, things like that. It's not that we have the feature; it's how easily accessible that feature is, how little amount of clicks, how easy it is to learn and train their staff on, and how much time it's saving. So I think we see that a lot in terms of inventory management and reporting specifically. The ability to easily manage your inventory, not only from the back end in just a few clicks on a computer, but also from a mobile app. It also gives them the freedom for their cashiers to be able to receive inventory right from the point of sale if they're the only one on staff, so that they're not away from the front and in the back room. In terms of reporting, it's really that customizability and being able to organize these reports to get the data that they care about and kind of filter out the things that they don't. So I think in the grand scheme of things, it's less about having a feature that no one else has. It's more about the way that we make these user-friendly, accessible, and in the customer's price.
What about, go ahead, Matt.
Nate, can I jump in here? And one other thing, what Jenny just talked about, especially with the smaller merchants, for any of you who've not been on a retail cloud demo, there's a wonderful young man that Jenny did a great job of training named Aaron. And Aaron, I've seen over the last year and a half, has really done a phenomenal job with his demos. And he's so gentle and so sweet, but so knowledgeable that rapport that I've been getting on more retail cloud demos and kind of helping Aaron or working with him. He doesn't need me at all. He's such a great job with our merchants and helping them with all their detailed questions that he's such a great selling point. So, once we get these demos scheduled, please make sure you're joining those so you can see how great Aaron does. And Aaron also will help with follow-up and making sure he gets those questions when it comes to a regular demo. So, Jenny, thank you for keeping Aaron happy. He's great.
Anytime.
So let's give some tips of what it takes to sell a single location restaurant with Servio, maybe a single location retail with 6 POS, all features, versus selling up market and selling 10, 15 location to 30 to 50 location. What are some of the things that sets salespeople and sales professionals apart when they are selling to those different groups? And I don't know who wants to take what. I know, Kevin, you were going to specifically talk about selling to those 30 to 50. So I don't know if Jen, if you want to talk about what, as you've worked with all different types of salespeople, what sets them apart selling to 1 to 5 location businesses?
Yeah, I think that when it comes to selling to different size businesses, it's important to understand and separate their wants from their needs and their pain points. I think what will happen a lot of times is there's a lot of really awesome features that we offer, but something that's not going to be applicable to maybe a food truck or someone that was running off of an Excel spreadsheet before. So I think that Retail Cloud has all of the features there. It's important to understand what their pain points that they're looking to solve are, what their wish list is, their bells and whistles, and what price range they're trying to stay in to be comfortable, and we can build a solution inside of that.
So Nate, I have a question for Jenny. I've never asked Jenny this question before. right? And Jenny, we've known each other for years.
This could be
What you guys
dangerous.
work with so well, you work with so many great hardware solutions. As we're talking about the big spaces and everything else, that's one thing I love. You guys work with packs across the board, so they can do 8920s or 700s or um, now the Ellis. But for you, I just want to know, what is your favorite hardware? What, maybe in your opinion, what do you think is the most reliable? If right now you are joining in a partnership and you were going to have 12 locations for a liquor store, what would Jenny put in as the most reliable hardware that you think looks the best? You know which ones work the best. So that
Yeah.
way our partners know right from the expert.
Yeah, so I definitely have two, what I'll say go-tos, and it really depends on the environment, what they're trying to accomplish, what they want that customer experience to be like, things like that. So, obviously, that Paxi 700, I think that that is a very sturdy device when it comes to if they're running a location that may be semi-outdoors, if they, have more of a rougher environment, it's compact but allows for it can take a little bit of heat there. The second device that I really love, and I know this isn't probably the answer you want, but is that Elise L1400. It's a really sleek, modern device, and it has a detachable EMV reader, which allows for some customization with different user setups. So what we've seen a lot, and I know you've been part of many of these conversations, but it's what does that cashier counter look like? Is it a drop counter? Is it a wide counter
Oh,
where the EMV reader won't quite reach. The L1400 really allows for that customizability, so they can have that reader detached and be able to still have that good customer experience where they can see that itemized list of what's being run on it.
yeah, which it does look great, and we're working on that, Jenny. I promise. The integrations team is already, we've been back and forth, and so they right now they're looking at some different reasons, things that Caitlin and I are working on that we're going to send over. So hopefully we'll get that through EPX. I know it's been kind of a pain point for ours, but it looks great. I mean, it really does.
It'll be
And seeing
exciting.
the 700 in action, especially at the rodeo, and being able to see how sturdy that is, and I mean they're just cranking through the lines. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's
So
talk
perfect.
going upstream a little bit, going to some of these larger. One, obviously, there's a different professionalism, different. I don't even, but you have to. It's a longer sale when you're talking about multi-location. When you start getting into those 30 and 40 and 50, and then eventually 100 to 300 and more locations, all businesses that Retail Cloud can serve. What are the things that help people be more successful in those sales, Kevin? What are the things that you've been doing this for a long time and you've been closing some really large deals? What are the things that you think set those sales professionals apart that are successful in getting those bigger deals?
Yeah,
This
that's a
is a
good
tough
question.
one. They're not going to be as good as Kevin. That's the problem, Nate. They won't be. Kevin can close anybody, and Kevin knows all these guys. So that
Well,
helps.
I
If
think
they're not
and I
you,
think
Kevin.
yeah, Danny touched on this. I think in a POS Uncensored recently on how to do enterprise sales,
Mhm.
which I think if I think it's on your YouTube still,
Yep.
isn't it, Nate?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. Yeah. It was, what's
Yeah.
called, we call that series Danny's Toolbox. So it's Danny's Toolbox, and it's
Yep.
one on, so you can go look that. It's got a great view, but yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I would strongly recommend everyone watch that if they haven't. But I think the primary approach for them is that they're not going to switch because of POS. They're usually switching because of some other business problem that that they're trying to solve. A lot of times it's purchase order management. The purchase order management for most people is very convoluted because a lot of systems don't have approvals, don't have limits, don't have purchase order compliance. And this is one thing, don't have three-way matching. And this is a reason that a lot of people switch. We had a partner who switched a $200 million a year account in 45 days simply because of three-way matching. So when you get into those larger opportunities, it you really have to do some discovery. The discovery calls become very important because they're switching and they're trying to solve problems other than the front of the house point of sale. Another reason that we see a lot of people switching. It's something simple, but it's because of user entitlements and because of item entitlements. You have, let's stay with the 30 unit location, 30 unit merchant. They have a store in New York, they have a store in Florida. They're selling the same jacket in New York and in Florida. They want to have two prices. They want to have a different product set for Florida than they have for New York. These are all things that most point of sales that are built for restaurant first can't solve, that a true retail solution can. So when they start looking at that, and they start looking at what we do and compare it to, say, an Oracle or a retail, or a retail pro, we start having a lot of separation within a product between them and us. And so I think the discovery is really key. I mean, I could keep
Yep.
listing reasons, but those are just two examples.
At what point, and I don't know where the tipping point is, but at some point, businesses grow large enough that it becomes you're responding usually to some type of RFP, request for proposal, for those who may not know, or some type of, and becomes more of a bidding process that at the first part than a cold call, an email, that are so many of our partners are used to. What are some, because you guys have done that with so many of our organizations, what helps you put those proposals together? At what stage, we don't want our partners just going out and looking, typing RFP into Google and then sending us and say, I need a RFP for this. But how do you know that you're ready as a sales partner to work with a company like Retail Cloud to build for an RFP, start putting proposals together for some of these businesses that have a more organized business structure than maybe our mom and pop stores or 1 to 5 location places?
Yeah, I think that we look at a lot of RFPs that we just pass on, because I think if you can't win it, or if you just think that, um, a lot of times they entail sponsorship, or they entail credit lines and things like that. So I would say about 20% of the sponsorships we don't even undertake. Sorry, 20% of the RFPs we don't even bid on. But RFPs are very difficult. But surprisingly, Nate, the majority of our business is not close to RFP. It's close by being, by really solving a problem that exists, that they want a solution to something other than point of sale. And they typically don't go to RFP. I mean, RFID, for example, is something that we're solving a lot for inventory management at the back of the house. How do you eliminate cycle counts? How do you eliminate shrinkage? Is something that a lot of merchants are looking for today. It was a solution that was, at the Zara's and at the Lululemons and the Uniqlos of the world. But
Yep.
I think that's something that prices have been dropping, and it's a great opportunity for mid-sized businesses to take a hold of their inventory management using RFID. And those deals are not coming in through RFPs. They're coming in because someone's solving a problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Kevin, can you speak on that a little more on the RFID capabilities and radio frequency? Just because there's agents that are out there, there's some that might be watching this that they've either never run into it or they don't know the name of it and know exactly what you're talking about. Can you kind of just break that down on how we're seeing that now out in the environment, and how we can really change the game for some merchants?
Yeah, I mean, RFID one improves the checkout too. It allows for a self-checkout environment, but essentially, the product is tagged with a unique. You're familiar with UPCs? These are unique EPCs that are mapped to a UPC. They drop it in a bin. It rings it up at the point of sale. They pay. They check out, and that unit is then removed from the inventory. That specific unit, but the University of Auburn, or is it Auburn University? I think I got to be careful of that. um, did some. They did some studies, and they showed that RFID reduces counting at the back of the house by 96%. So we get a lot of merchants say, I'm closing for 2 days to do a count. Now they're doing counts at the end of every night. And it's boosting accuracy in the industry to close to 95%. That's really a game changer, especially for SMBs
Huge.
and mid-tier companies that are juggling limited staff. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, no, I was saying that's huge. Yeah, thank you very much for explaining that. Being able to put those items in the cart and just walk away, but the fact that's coming out of the inventory. is big.
Yeah,
And Nate, I
and
think you keep messing with Jenny and just pulling her up randomly.
Wow, I'm hitting the wrong button occasionally. I just want to make sure that everybody's still here. So
Yes, but we're seeing that on our side as a need, Kevin, and our
yeah.
partners now are seeing that in the field.
And Matt, the other thing is that pricing on those used to be for a single RFID counter used to be around $75 to $12,000. Those prices have now dropped to under $3,000.
Yeah, that's
So
huge. I recently did see that, Kevin. I recently did see like $8,000 to $10,000 for RFID. So that's a game changer when you're looking at 30% of that. So
yeah, and you know, I'm not prepared to show you pictures here, but we are wrapping the RFID boxes, so they're usually getting a sponsor to pay for the RFID box. There's a lot of way to underwrite it that merchants are taking. I'm talking about small and mid-sized merchants, not just the large merchants, are using sponsors to underwrite the cost of those RFIDs.
well, and the
Right.
ability to start managing your like you don't have to be the Amazon warehouse to use the technologies that they're using that will help you. And you can quickly save $3,000 in a very short amount of time from just shrinkage, from making sure you have an accurate count of what's going on. We set up a lot of places that are different types of apparel companies where they have the certain amount of apparel that they have in house. They have a certain amount of apparel that they have at a third party warehouse. They have it in ship, and they need to manage all that, and being able to do using the newest technologies, even when maybe they're not to the size that they thought they could afford a $12,000 RFID reader. Now they can. And now it's certainly, if you're going to start dealing in the places that have inventory management, learning a little bit about it, watching the pain points that they have, because so many of them, from a liquor store to large apparel to those who are selling large e-commerce and have gotten into, I just walked through one, it's about 3 miles from my house, and they ship over 20,000 a day, trophies, plaques over here in Park 100.
Yep.
And they have, I forget the amount of square feet, but just giant location. And everything is managed by RFID and then tied back to their website, making sure that every order they have on their website, they absolutely have it. And that's the name of the game. And really, COVID brought us to that if a person clicks order, you better have it or you're never going to get that customer back again. And Retail Cloud brings you that opportunity to have that type of a technology, which it wasn't available. And it's something that sets apart, to my knowledge, our big kahunas that are laying off their staff this week, like Square, if we're on the restaurant side, Toast, that are proprietary, they don't have that RFID technology, correct? Am I right, Kevin? I don't want to, I haven't actually looked into it, but I don't think they have the capability to integrate in any of that.
No, they don't have any native solutions. So they have some third-party solutions, but the difference between what we're trying to do is really build native solutions. So the whole solution is cohesive. I mean, that's really the I think the most important thing. And coming from a payments background, you know, I understand that as a payment provider, you want to make sure that you're not bringing in a partner who's going to give you problems or put the payment account at risk. So for us, having a really tight, cohesive solution has always been critical.
Yeah. And don't forget, guys, with going through the POS Pros office, going through PayProTec, we're going to help with this hardware. I mean, Kevin just mentioned the cost of RFIDs, and the hardware is greatly lowered now over the last few years. But if you are doing cash discount, dual pricing with your merchants, and most of you are, we're going to help you with the pricing. And so even those smaller ones that Nate's talking about, where they didn't know they can have these amazing capabilities, well, yes, they can, but then you also have the backing of us to help offset some of that upfront cost. So just from a sales standpoint, I want to throw that out there to keep that in mind.
Yep. That's why we put all this together. Our POS Pros team is ready to help you sell in situations you never thought you could bring the confidence with, and you will be, because you're going to work with Matt and his team, and then Kevin and Jenny and their team, to make sure that you're walking in with confidence with a presentation that helps confirm that you have what they need and are going to fix some of their problems. I'm going to start with 2 last questions. We're going to start with some talking because Kevin talked earlier, and he said he made a grand prediction in 3 years the POS will be dead. So we're going to make that our little cut later. But I'd love to know, what are some of the features and technologies that you're excited about, either that are fairly new or are new and you're not even ready, and maybe you're looking forward to integrating into. What are those? And then the second question is, I always like ending on stories. As you picture success stories of Retail Cloud, they can be PayProTec or not, but merchants that you've helped, and you're just, when you get done help getting, you're 3 months after their installation and they write back and say, man, this is amazing. I'd love to hear a couple of those stories. But let's start with the features and technology. I'm going to make Jenny, you go first. What are some things you're excited about that are some either newer or coming features and tech that are going to help businesses?
You're trying to look into Rupak's world here. Yeah, he might not be happy about that, Nate.
So one thing that I would mention, which has I would say is newer for Retail Cloud specifically as well, that we've built out, is a suites ordering solution. And again, this is geared more towards the stadium side of things, but going to help us manage a uniform location for all of our orders. So people can log in to an assigned suite. They can pre-order, they can QR code order during the event, and they can place orders on a point of sale if that's available. All of these can be linked together to one unified location so that they have one full bill. So that's definitely one very exciting thing to see that's come to fruition this year.
Very cool.
Nice.
All right. How about you, Kevin? What would be something that you are excited about, either coming or has come recently?
Coming, I think I'm most excited about what we're doing with AI and inventory management. The ability to really tighten how much merchants are investing in inventory using AI modeling. I think that we're making a lot of strides in that. I've seen some of the latest models that we have, and they're pretty interesting. We have a test merchant going on right now that we're able to reduce their on 3 years of information, we're able to reduce the inventory on hand by 40%. So that's 40% more cash that's sitting in their pocket that they can use for either carrying a complementary product or carrying cross-selling product, or just keeping it in their pocket. So I think what AI is opening for us is pretty amazing in terms of inventory replenishment, in terms of cross-selling, in terms of customer suggestions. I think that's where the most excitement is for me.
Awesome. Well, that's the buzzword of all technology, isn't it? Now, the large language model, AI, machine learning, and it's going to have great effect on our small and medium businesses. It's not just the Walmarts and the Amazons of the world. It's going to help all the businesses for us to work together. And those who are the consultants, those who are the you don't even have to be an expert, just the knowledgeable consultants that walk in and be able to help small and medium businesses apply those technologies with companies like Retail Cloud. You're going to set yourself apart. Now, let's tell, and Matt, you have to do this too. So you got to pick back into your brain. I'm going to make you go first because you knew I was going to come with it, even though I didn't say it earlier. We're going to go Matt, Jenny, and then Kevin. Tell me a success story, a Retail Cloud success story that we've had at PayProTec, and then the others, but something that stands out that just tells of how Retail Cloud is helping out in the field.
Yeah, actually one that just happened last year, where we had a new office that came on board that we had not worked with in the past. And obviously when that happens, we're trying to get that first deal, and that first close. And this happened to be, I think they have 100 locations. Unfortunately, we've only been able to get the first 12. We're still kind of adding more locations. But they had a lot of questions, a lot of details, a lot of things. I mean, there were a lot of meetings. And I think the patience, the expertise of the Retail Cloud team of constantly being there for them and stepping up ended up being a huge win to get all of these locations across the board and moved over. So that was a good one, Nate, from just this past year, because that was a big opportunity for us to make sure this office keeps submitting deals and everything goes smoothly. And I really respect and love the Retail Cloud team for how they stepped up, even when there were more questions from the merchant, even there were more requests. That the agent support side of Retail Cloud was all over it and was set up to help them succeed. So that's a good one. Is that okay, Nate?
That's perfect. That's a good start. All right. I won't for it. I was going to say, Jenny, next. Are you ready? You got a story you can tell
Yeah.
us? All right.
Yeah. You said not PayProTec's okay as well?
That is fine.
Okay. All
Just
right.
pretend it's
So
PayProTec. We'll pretend it's ours.
all right. So I want to talk a little bit about the past month of my life, really, but the Houston rodeo and just that process. We've been doing different parts of the rodeo for a couple of years now, but the part that I was involved in was the first year, and they moved from a very archaic solution, we'll call it, over to Retail Cloud this year, and it was a big undertaking, and a lot of I would say 99% of their staff is volunteers, which means you don't have a consistent crew on payroll that's able to take this seriously, so to speak. So there's a lot of issues with learning curves and things like that that people are concerned about, and seeing how not only seamless this was for everyone to adapt to a completely new point of sale under a very, very fast paced environment, but also watching their sales increase due to this capability. Bartenders are making increased tips, which means they're going to come back the next year. They get more consistent staff. And on the back end, when they're trying to tie up all of their inventory at the end of the night, it's a matter of people going home at 12:30 instead of 5 a.m. So it's just been such a colossal change to see this system make their environment and all of their processes flow so much more smoothly.
And I love that. That is awesome. And,
Yeah.
and reminding that you don't have to be as big. First, I've not been to the Houston rodeo. I know Matt and all three of you have been there. So someday maybe I've never even been to a rodeo. So maybe that I just need to make the biggest my first, right?
You could spend days there, buddy.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
So,
a lot to take in, and in a short window. Yeah.
but there are other large live events that are using archaic, to use Jenny's term, hardware and software that are going on in every state, every city, and they've been going on for decades, and they're ready to make a change. They don't even know because it seems like too much work. But when you can say, hey, I can bring a solution to you that has just made the change over at the Houston Rodeo, has made the change at the Masters, has made the change at however it sets that opportunity up to saying, look, if they've done it, this is maybe the next step. Because a lot of you already have relationships with some of these large events. I remember the first time I ever met up with you guys was at the Vera Bradley events up in Fort Wayne, and seeing your guys is using that. It's there. You guys do events so well, and that's even a gateway to so many other opportunities. Kevin, what story are you going to tell us to close us out today as we've been talking retail cloud here?
I'm going to tell you a story of one of your agents who a year ago I talked to him, and he wanted to. He kept saying, I want to do these high volume merchants, but I have no idea what I'm doing, and I can't have my agents get started on it when I don't know what to do. Um, it's interesting because he was a big Kobe Bryant fan, and he told me, he said, he knew that we did the Lakers, and he was a big Kobe Bryant fan. But he said he lives by Kobe Bryant's quote, which says, "Hard work outworks talent every time," or something similar to that. I'm not doing justice to it. But 2 weeks ago, he called me in. Well, one of the things he asked me is, "What's the best way? Who's your competitor that I should go chasing after?" So it's been 10 months, and he finally called me a couple of weeks ago, or maybe a month ago. I'm not sure how long it's been. And he said, "I finally found it was a 38 location chain clothing store," and he said, "It's taken me a year, but I finally found out what I was missing." And I said, "What'd you do differently?" He said, "I took the competitors that you said were easy to beat, and I just had my BDRs call and ask them if they were using that system. And if they said yes, then I'd get an appointment for them." So I love that story because he didn't know how to start, but he just figured out a way of starting, and he worked hard, and he was able to get. I think he's going to be able to close a nice deal.
Nice.
And I think
Great.
there are a lot of partners who are either watching this now live or are going to watch this in the future who often walk away or shy away from the larger deals, the larger opportunities, the opportunities that can become life-changing uh, uh, for them because they're going to be 30, 50, 100 location deals, hundreds of millions of dollars of volume, hundreds of thousands of dollars of residual to them. And they walk away from the opportunity because they don't feel the confidence to do that. And we want to say to you, one, start swinging for the fences. Two, we have companies like Retail Cloud that are going to stand behind you, beside you, and help you close those deals. And we want to continue building that into the PayProTec ethos, that you can not only go and sell to mom and pop independent store in Main Street, USA, but you can walk into the enterprise around the United States, anywhere in the United States. It has to be the United States. That's the only place we process. If you have outside the United States, I'm pretty sure Retail Cloud will still help you. We just can't. But anything here in the US, we're ready to go jump in and help you close those deals. And we're so excited about it. Excited to have our partners like Jenny and Kevin from Retail Cloud and the team. Matt, as we close out, what have I missed? We've done about almost 45 minutes here. What have I missed that I should have highlighted together when we have Kevin and Jenny here?
Well, you said it perfectly at the end there, Nate. Don't be intimidated. Don't be scared. There are too many times, and I think everyone on this call can probably agree with me, where I've been to a larger event space and I've seen Clover. I mean, Gamebridge, Nate, I don't know if you saw it, but I know they were in contract with Spot On a few years ago. I have no clue why they had Spot On. Don't think that's a good thing for them. So I don't think they're being called upon as much as everyone thinks. And so start making those calls, make those connections. They'll send you to the right people, okay? Especially if they're not happy with what software it is. So that's what I would say. And don't forget, team, it's not just the retail space, okay? We'll be happy to talk to you about the phenomenal capabilities of Servio and what that can do in the F&B environment, as well as we can talk RFID. We really want to stress and open conversations with you guys, and stress the importance of working with us and the entire Retail Cloud team. But yeah, that's it, Nate. Yeah, great job. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, Kevin, so much. I think this was great.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, all those who are watching today, watching in the future. Retail Cloud is a great partner of PayProTec. We look forward to doing more and more business together in the weeks, months, years to come. And we believe you as our partners, you're going to be an integral part of that. Let's swing for the fences. Let's get some of these bigger deals, but also helping bring the best technology even to the smallest of retail, because we have partners like Retail Cloud. Thank you guys very much. We'll see you next time on POS Uncensored. Next week is off because we're going to be at ETA. I should have mentioned that earlier. If you're watching live and you're watching in March, we will be off next Thursday. We go dormant for a week, but then the following week, I forget what it is, but we'll bring it. We'll send you an email about it because I can't remember right now, but I know we've already decided on it. So we'll see it then. Bye, everybody. Thanks, guys.
All right.